what teams go with. We are going to start here into the Grande Arena, and yesterday we saw that Tymilia's God comp, every team trying to train down CMG. Definitely the easiest kill target, but Tymilia landing some nasty poly combos, especially with that Ring of Frost as an option. Tymilia, once he gets the deep freeze, has 2 different casts that can land an 8-second CC. So the question is, do you use 2 interrupts to stop both of them and keep your healer out of CC? Do you have 2 interrupts? And how much can you lock down that mage CC so that you can keep out enough pressure from your warrior and DK to kill that Shadow Priest?
Yeah, that's definitely what the essence of this matchup is can the TSG stop the CC and still put out the pressure? So just going over the teams, we have Shifty, CMG, and Tymilia over here in the God Comp, Caustique, Whoopi, and Son of Zeus X over here in the TSG. First match will be on the Grand, and we're going to be coming down in 5 seconds, following CMG straight out the gate.
Yeah, let's see what CMG can do here to start this out.
Yeah, I personally view the positioning of the Priest to be the most important part right at the start. Getting that Ice Nova right at the beginning, Gladiator Zeus just running in right away, and already some high pressure coming out, Whoopi getting into that deep, Icy Veins getting popped, and Asphyx already on the Shifty, trying to get out pressure, but Whoopi already into that breath coming out of the DK onto Tymilia with the pet stun as well. Full silence on Whoopi, dive with a sword pop by Son of Zeus, and actually Shifty getting locked out there by the pet. Huge difference, and Gargoyle already being popped at this point. Whoopi choosing to dispel those dots with the Stone Form. Not really sure if that's what he should have been doing this early on, but he did decide to go for that, so we're going to see what they're choosing to do at this point.
Well, so far here we can see a little bit of variation. They're switching up, putting some damage onto Tymilia. He's trying to get out the polymorphs. Son of Zeus does get that monk bubble right before Whoopi goes into the full poly. Caustique pops the AMS, and big pressure coming here from the God Comp. The repoly from Tymilia into a full clone from Shifty. Shifty doing an awesome job managing those clones, but every time CC chains, Tymilia taking a lot more damage. Full silence there onto Whoopi. Is Son of Zeus going to go down? He's full bash, 5%, 3%.
Absolutely just getting demolished right there.
Well,
you have to wonder what happened there with Whoopi choosing to waste that bubble and then trinketing without having any real CDs. He trinketed way too late there, costing his warrior his life. It looked like even at that point, I'm not even sure that the rally or the enraged regen actually came out of him at that point. I mean, that should have been where he saved it for, and I would say that's where the mistake was. And looking at the damage too, we do see it CMG just demolishing it, getting those early pressure going, and just
1 million
out.
damage there from CMG compared to only 500,000 from Son of Zeus. So in this case, the God Comp managing to put out just about as much damage in that short game. The big difference is 23 seconds of CC onto Whoopi, 6 seconds onto Shifty. So not quite enough CC there. I did like how they tried to make a switch over to Tymilia to stop the polys, but ultimately Tymilia landed the polys when he needed to. And we could see there that as they switched on to him, Whoopi tried to use that life cocoon relatively early, right before he went into the poly, to keep his warrior offensive. But once it was over, Son of Zeus was still in trouble, DK was still in trouble, and ultimately they had nothing left. And that's the danger, especially with a Druid team who can occasionally put out clones to really take away the benefit of that life cocoon.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like that was the mistake right there. And what he did is he actually chose to use that cocoon ahead of the poly, but he used it into a part where they didn't have their damage lined up, and effectively they just chose not to do anything to it, waited it out, and as soon as it was over, just demolished them with pretty much nothing left. I mean, they cleaned off the warrior completely at that point, and that is what the God Comp should be doing 100% of the time. It was, at least in my opinion, I felt like the TSG kind of made a misstep there, choosing to use that cocoon too early. So we're going to get this second match queued up and see what this is going to be. And once again, just for the people watching, this is going to be a best of 5. The first match is always going to be in a Grande, and the following matches are going to be a random pick.
Yeah, so our second match here is going to be on Dalaran Sewers, and this may be a helpful situation here for this TSG. Smaller map, closer quarters. Whoopi definitely is going to have the potential to get across the entire map very quickly with those monk movement cooldowns, but at the same time, stacking behind boxes here, CMG Spheres will be so scary. Really tough to try to turtle behind boxes with a Shadow Priest for those AoE fears, so we're going to have to see if they switch up the strategy. I really think the biggest thing is just executing better, making sure to stop a couple more of those polys, and just making sure that when they use Life Cocoon, it is the exact right time for it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be following Son of Zeus out of the gate this time, kind of seeing what kind of positioning they go into, trying possibly to get lusted right out of that Ice Nova at the start. I feel like that'd be a good way to start off the match and give them a lot of momentum. So we do have everybody coming out of the gates now, starting straight across, not getting that lust off, getting the Ice Nova immediately, getting the spell, choosing to pop his on-use trinket instantly, though, getting the Stormlord onto Shifty, and at this point, putting out huge damage into Tamiya with the pet stun from the DK. DK popping on use as well and starting to go up high. I'm just using every single CD at this point. Whippy into the full poly though, and already getting the double CC right there with Caustique, getting in the clone, getting a trinket out of that, choosing not to desecrate it, in fact, into the full fear on Whippy. And at this point, you have to kind of wonder what's going on when, in fact, CMG actually just did silence into that R Mastery on the Monk, and I don't feel like that was what they planned on doing, so they did just choose to clone up Son of Zeus right there, stopping the damage and letting that go. But Wreck coming out of Son of Zeus right here. Shifty in the clone right now. Not really a good spot for Tamiya to be in this. Maybe a block right here, 50k. And he does go ahead and block that with the NS coming out as well.
Yeah, well, that's sweet leg sweep by the Monk there. Awesome job onto CMG and Shifty, Ariana and Shifty, but doesn't matter. They got the first block. Much better job this time locking out those polys by Tamiya. Occasional locks on Frost, which I'm not sure of. Frostbolt not exceptionally threatening, but right here, Tamiya putting out the poly onto Caustique. He's getting a lot more resistance as he tries to get him onto Whoopi this game around. That paralysis on CMG, Tamiya taking pretty big damage here. Can Shifty keep him up? There is the AMS by Caustique, Son of Zeus, putting out the pressure, and Whoopi just not eating the sort of CC that he was eating the first game. Tamiya completely drained Doom from those spell steals, so he's going to have to take a break from that for a second. Let's see if he can get a poly out here. There is the full clone onto Whoopi, and Son of Zeus into the disarm. Some damage coming in, but is it going to be enough? There is the bash. What can Whoopi do? He is in a full silence, but he did get off that life cocoon. They need a full clone onto Son of Zeus here. Prevent those upcoming heals from Whoopi.
Right, and something I just was seeing a little bit earlier, Shifty was actually getting triple DR and then 0 DR stun right there, and now they finally do let that restart, but they've lost a lot of pressure because of that, not getting real CDs there when they should have. And Caustique actually doing a great job there. He's been stealing CC the entire game with a clone and a poly. Whippy in the polys right now, but this looks like it's going to be in between his big cooldowns, so unless they can get off more damage, it's not going to help them out. They have to get out, and there it is actually, the fear with the clone. And they really just need these triple CC windows for Son of Zeus, and they're not getting them often enough. This match is a total turn from what we saw last time, where they're actually doing pressure. But Shifty into the full XP. We see Tamiya dropping down to 50k. Almost, he's going to have to block right there if he wants to live. I'm choosing the Ironbark with the block, a huge overlap of CC right there, or CDs rather. And that could be really dangerous later on. It is a minute cooldown with a 5-minute cooldown. Kind of dangerous, especially since he already used the first block as well.
Yeah, well, Tamiya here just being forced both blocks out, so we're going to have to see if this TSG can line up big pressure again. Tamiya running with the Frost Jaw, so he did get locked out there and bursted down, nearly killed. I think he was locked out of Arcane. Caustique goes into the full poly. Son of Zeus still taking damage. That is the disarm. Do they have CC for Whoopi? It does not look like it right now. Tamiya is still taking big damage. Being on Tamiya and throwing those off stuns on CMG has proved effective so far. This is Blaze Storm from Son of Zeus. Tamiya puts out those Icy Veins. Let's see if this faster casting can land on the poly onto Whoopi. Whoopi just sitting so far back. Really smart positioning this time. And Whoopi does go into the full clone finally, but CMG in a leg sweep. Let's see if they can follow up onto Whoopi. Nope, there is going to be another Cyclone there, but a lockout on CMG there. Regross coming out from Shifty. That is the deep freeze. This is what Tamiya was looking for, but awesome spell reflect by Son of Zeus. No polys onto Whoopi. Let's see what they can do here, this TSG.
And that was a nimble brew out of him as well as dive with a sword from Son of Zeus. So they're starting to run out of cooldowns at this point. Son of Zeus into the full disarm right there. This could be dangerous for them with the triple CC already on the rest of his team. Getting a trinket out of Whoopi right there for the cocoon, but getting it cloned almost instantly. I do kind of feel like that was a mistake trinketing that. They basically just didn't have any damage left by that point. He was pretty safe, but now they've wasted off that entire cocoon, getting the breath out with Caustique and everything, and this is their damage window right here. It's on Tamiya. He's at 70k, and doesn't even matter. He dies in the Blaze Storm. Looks like he was still in battle stance for that as well. Just the pure speed and damage that's coming out of both teams at this point is actually just crazy. We're seeing if maybe Caustique can finish somebody off, but I don't really feel like he's going to be able to. So they're going to go ahead and leave, and that will be the second round going once again to Ariana Grande on Delaran.
Well, I mean, that was a much cleaner presentation there by the TSG. An interesting strategy, but finally, after a good 2-minute lull there, Tymelia finally able to connect with those polys, and we could see CMG doing so much damage, really having to battle a lot of annoying mini stuns, short CCs, but once Tymelia landed that deep freeze into a sheep, it really just turned around there. So that is a 2-0 lead for the God Comp, and I will say I do think that God Comp has a slight edge in this matchup. Flame Glow for mages is just such a strong talent. That combined with Druid Hots just equates to really paranormal survivability. So really good job there by the God Comp, exploiting that survivability, keeping Tymelia alive, and then when they finally got that CC chain lined up, really doing a good job. But I think what cost the TSG ultimately there was that trinket. I'm not sure if they managed the cooldowns right at the very end. Probably would have liked to see a little bit more conservative use by Whoopi there, especially since he'd put the Life Cocoon out and he had run out of, Tymelia had run out of Ice Novas onto Son of Zeus. The Orb DP had been blown, so I'm not sure how much damage was really there that they had to worry about to blow a trinket.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was the end of the damage. I mean, that was already both Ice Novas were out, everything was out, and as soon as that bubble came up, I mean, it instantly was cloned. There was no stop on that, and that was really the game coster right there. They just had an entire cocoon invalidated, came out of it, just damaged straight through the remaining, 100k of his HP, and that was the game basically. The other part that really struck me as the loss there was the stop or the part right in the middle with the triple DR'd S-Fix and then the Stormbolt into the 0 DR. So I kind of wonder if maybe they meant to switch that around and triple DR with the Stormbolt and then S-Fix so it was a straying, but I mean, that was definitely a huge mistake. They could have gotten another block